All right, one of the world's largest lingerie retailers, that's Victoria's Secret. They are embroiled in yet another scandal. A recently released New York Times article, Angels in Hell, describes in detail an alleged culture of misogyny, bullying, and harassment. At the center of claims are Ed Razek and Leslie Wexner, two top executives at Victoria's Secret parent company's L Brands. One of the report's authors, Katherine Roseman, joins me now from New York. Katherine, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.
So this is not the first time Victoria's Secret has been in the media for what some would call questionable actions. Describe to us what kind of claims are being made against the organization.
Well, I think Victoria's Secret became more a focus of attention when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested this summer in July, and it was made more public that Leslie Wexner, who is the founder and who runs L Brands, had for many years had Jeffrey Epstein as his closest financial confidant, had given him power of attorney over his finances. And so a lot of eyes turned to L Brands, and its marquee brand, of course, is Victoria's Secret. And given the nature of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and misdeeds, looking at a company that markets femininity to women and has as its spokespeople models and supermodels, there was a lot of interest in what was going on at Victoria's Secret. And what we found was far more than Jeffrey Epstein.
So let's talk about how you were able to unearth this story. How did you begin to find out about the alleged harassment, and how were you able to speak with these employees and sources?
Well, I feel that we reported it like you report any story, which means you call 1 million people and hope you get a couple of them to talk to you. And it was a long process. We spent many months on the story, and people were nervous to talk. A lot of people have signed documents that preclude them from talking to us. So there were just a lot of calling, a lot of follow-up, a lot of coffees, and you just say, if you can't talk, who should we be trying? And it's kind of a shoe leather sort of story.
The kind that gets things done, brings things to light. And so how is L Brands responding to the investigation?
Well, toward the end of last week, we sent L Brands a very detailed list, really specific of what the information in the story we were preparing, was going to reveal. And we got a response from them that we quoted in the story where they didn't dispute any of the reporting and said that it regretted that it hadn't sort of lived up to its obligations and was focusing more and more on good governance. So it was an unusual response to get from a company and a publicly traded company when the allegations were so detailed, so significant, and they didn't dispute any of it.
I want to drill into something that you mentioned earlier. You describe a relationship in your article and your reporting between Mr. Wexner and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Tell us about that connection between the two and what Epstein is accused of doing in the company's name.
Well, we've reported previously on the relationship and connection that they had, but Wexner, as we understand it, was Epstein's big client. He was sort of the main person in terms of his job as some sort of financial advisor and money manager guru. And so for many years, he was really deeply involved in all of Wexner's financial decisions, and even for a time had power of attorney over his money. Wexner said that the relationship ended in 2007, which was a year after Epstein was originally, I think, charged, possibly convicted of sex crimes, which involved children in many, if not most cases. What we found out with Victoria's Secret is there are instances where Epstein was pretending to be a scout, was saying to women and possibly girls, I can help get you a job at Victoria's Secret and come to my hotel for a tryout, as it were, and we know that in at least 2 of those cases, those, you know, quote unquote tryouts ended in assault.
Wow. You were just showing images of some of the models from Victoria's Secrets, and since your investigation, more than 100 of those models have signed an open letter to the company's CEO, John Mihas, calling for what they are asking, or quoting, meaningful action. Has he responded?
Not as far as I know. You know, that letter obviously was not done. It was done through a group called Model Alliance, which for a while, I think since the Me Too movement started, obviously related to Weinstein, who I know you all just reported on a few minutes ago, the Model Alliance put a code of conduct together that they have asked a number of fashion industry companies and agents, et cetera, to sign, sort of agreeing that there will be standards that will be held to and that there will be accountability should those standards be ignored or violated. As I understand it, representatives from the Model Alliance met with Victoria's Secret last fall, so I believe that would have been fall of 2019. And Victoria's Secret ultimately declined to agree to this standard, this standard of, you know, of appropriate treatment of women and men who will be modeling, particularly in underwear. And so my understanding is this letter represents a response to our story, asking again that Victoria's Secret, you know, come forward and agree to the standards and this code of conduct. And I haven't heard if they have agreed to do so.
All right, Katherine Roseman, shoe leather reporting from the New York Times, which is why I've been a subscriber since 14 years old, lifelong subscriber. Well done. Thank you for your reporting.
Well, thank you for subscribing. We appreciate all our readers.
All right. Thank you.